Towards specialized care on
The Government of Uganda, working with development partners under the Refugee Response Program, is strategizing on how to align available resources to minimize the impact of shrinking humanitarian funding.
We've had a challenge in terms of funding. There's been quite a very big, significant downgrade in funding of refugees, and it's really affecting a lot of services. As we mentioned earlier during the meeting, the health, the water projects, the education, and other livelihood support projects have been affected. And this puts a burden on us as government and also the host communities.
Development partners acknowledge that the current approach is no longer sustainable. This has prompted a shift towards a transition strategy that integrates asylum seekers into national development plans to promote self-reliance.
Or urge the government to consider additional resource mobilization and diversification efforts, as well as opportunities for rationalization and streamlining.
Stakeholders are also advocating for the inclusion of asylum seekers in national data systems through the acquisition of national identification cards, tax identification numbers, and access to unconditional work permits.
On the issue of the tax identification numbers, I want to thank my ministers. They wrote to Uganda Revenue Authority, which has responded, and have requested us to share with them the data on refugees and agree on a common portal where we shall be sharing this data.
The government has suspended the Prima Facie status determination system and replaced it with an individual refugee status determination process to ensure more efficient management and improved accountability.
Why we have suspended it for the meantime is because we realized it was being abused by some of the refugees that come in because they find it easier for that window. But that is administrative. We are not saying that we have abolished it completely. We have just suspended it for now, looking at the protracted numbers of the refugees that are coming in from those countries that we are applying the Prima Facie window to them.
What government is doing is making adjustments to the procedure for adjudication of refugee status. They are moving from a group-based approach to an individual-based approach. And that's within the framework of international law. So for us, that's fine with us.
Various sectors are reporting resource constraints in refugee hosting communities. They cite increasing competition for limited resources and are calling on the government and its partners to realign resource allocation strategies to ease the pressure.
Compared to the last 5 years, the funding keeps on going down. And then we have the numbers going up. So that is going to create a very big challenge and a very big burden on us as a country that is trying to, exercise the open door policy.
Sustaining the staff, the teachers, the medicines, and otherwise with an increasing population, it has depended very much so on humanitarian funding. And right now, there is a large-scale gap.
Over the past 5 years, refugee response plans in Uganda and other host countries have faced significant funding cuts, placing a heavy burden on host nations. This has prompted steering committees in collaboration with partners to develop durable solutions, including co-financing mechanisms and strategies to equip refugees for self-reliance. Abdunasili Lubwama and Regan Ahumza for UBC.